Hello guys, this is Mr. Corn again, here with Driver Ed Fun. Alright, next chapter we're going to work on is Chapter 8. It is titled Managing Risk, Time and Space. Last one was Vision and Perception, this one's Time and Space. Obviously time and space management is very important when you're driving. You're trying to keep things away from your car or keep yourself away from dangerous situations, so you're always working with that space that you have. Okay? One of the things to understand when you're dealing with space is you got a couple things that you have to understand. First thing, space behind you is the least controllable. You have the least control over what's going on behind your vehicle. Okay. Obviously, if somebody's tailgating you, you can tap your brakes, try to warn them. You can pull over, let them pass you if they're in a hurry. But generally, you don't have a ton of control of space behind you. Okay. The other thing is when you need an escape path, make sure you have some way out to the front and one side, because you can control space to the front. You can control, if you stop at a light, you can leave 20 feet between you and, or 15 feet between you and the car in front of you in case there's an emergency or the car in front of you breaks down. You can swerve around them. Okay, so there's lots of good reasons to manage that space. Okay, but you want to have the front and one side. Sometimes one side is almost impossible. Okay, it depends where you're driving. If I've got to the right of me, I got a cliff. Okay, my space to the right is pretty limited. I might have to swerve into the opposing traffic, but hopefully there's nothing there. So there's lots of different things. So you want to have space to the front and one side to allow you to escape if you have to escape out of a dangerous situation. Somebody's car dies, whatever. Okay? When a driver's following you too closely or tailgating, you need to give up space again to the front and one side. Okay? Try to have that little escape path if you have to, if that person gets way too close to you. Okay? When faced to dangers on both sides of your vehicle, like we just kind of talked about, if I have a cliff on one side and a lane of opposing traffic on the other side, I think the lane of opposing traffic and flashing my lights and trying to get them to stop would probably be easier than going off a cliff. Okay, so you want to leave more space to the side with the more serious consequence. Okay, you got to judge that consequence. What's more serious to you might not be more serious to me. I think going off an edge of a cliff is more serious than running into an opposing traffic or something like that. So, but again, it depends how fast you're going. There's all kinds of factors that play into that. So just kind of be aware of that as well. An adequate space margin around your car gives you time, space, and visibility. We talked about vision and perception in the last chapter. Now we're talking about time and space. Okay, those are the things you have control of. So you want to be aware of all of them. Okay. And I think that's it. When selecting a path of travel, you want to give attention to, obviously, the visibility, because that was our last chapter, space, traffic flow, traction, and the laws, obviously. If it's 55, you're supposed to be going 55. That's a law. Okay? But you're also watching traffic flow, traction. Is it snowing out? Is it raining? Any number of things that can be a factor in driving a vehicle. Okay? Maintaining a proper interval or visual control zone or the visual lead gives you more time to make good decisions. Okay? If I've got 20 seconds between me and an opposing car up front, it gives me that time to make an adjustment if that car suddenly stops, goes off the road into a ditch, then I got to decide if I'm going to help that person, which you should, and all those sorts of things. So there's lots of factors that play into that. Okay? And a reasonable and proper speed for any set of conditions assures a safe path of travel. If it's snowing out, I might be going 30 in a 55. Okay, I probably don't want to go 55 in a snowstorm. So you want to be thinking about that as well. Okay, which of the following is not a major condition that would require you to adjust your speed? And that's time. Okay, yeah, sometimes we get behind, sometimes we're in a rush to get somewhere. Try to temper that desire to go fast with your safety. Okay, real important thing to consider. Okay, how fast you drive is determined by a couple things: posted speed limit and the highway conditions both. Okay, if it's snowing, like I said, you're going to slow down a little bit. You're not going to go highway speed. Okay, and you make a larger reduction in your speed when the consequences of a possible collision are greater. Okay, so I'm going to reduce my speed when I'm following other vehicles in a snowstorm, because if they have to stop quick, I want to be able to stop quick and not slide into the back of them. Okay, so that's really important. The size of your space margin is really a factor that deals with your speed. If I'm going 55, I want to leave at least 3 to 5 seconds between me and the car in front of me. Usually 3 to 4 seconds is good, 5 is a little better. If I'm towing a trailer, I might do a little more. okay, a little more at highway speed, a little more space, because it's going to take me a little longer to stop, okay? But your speed is really the critical factor, all right? The key to the basic speed law is finding a reasonable and proper speed for the conditions, okay? And we've been talking kind of about this. Some of this stuff repeats a lot, okay? And if the traction changes, if the space changes, there's more traffic, if visibility changes because of fog or snow or some other weather condition, all those things play into a reason you would have to adjust your speed, okay? So that's real important to kind of think about. Things change all the time. I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden it starts snowing really hard. That's going to be a factor in how fast I'm going. I'm going to let off the gas, slow down a little bit. Same thing with driving into a bank of fog. Okay, that happens a lot around where we live here in a rural community. Driving into a bank of fog, you're going to slow down, hopefully, or else you might hit something that you can't see in the fog. All right? And that is it for Chapter 8. It's a pretty short chapter. There is a video that goes with this chapter that I'm going to attach called Physics of a Car Crash. There's a worksheet. You can finish the worksheet probably in Kami. If you're having any difficulty with it, feel free to print the worksheet out and do it with the video. It is the one graded worksheet I have in here. It's not going to get a check plus, check minus. It's going to get an actual score. Okay, so if there's 30 blanks and you get 29 out of 30, you get a 29 out of 30 on it. Okay, and that'll go into your average. I don't have any problem if you're having difficulty with the technology of printing any of this stuff out and handing it in a hard copy. That is absolutely acceptable with any of my work. Okay, as long as I get it and your name's on it, I know whose it is, put it in the grade book. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.